Do you guys like pranks? Who here is big on pranking? Just give me a quick like yes or no to pranks in the chat. I want to know how we feel. You can also say yes if they're very clever pranks, but you can be like extremely picky. I am in the predominantly no camp. I am actually probably a prank hater, but I'm not an absolutist. There have been pranks where I am like, well done, actually. Especially cute pranks. So, for example, there was this like construction mound that my daughter and I would walk past every day to school. I had just taken the kids for a hike to the summit of Mount Hollywood when we visited California. So every time she passed this mound, she was like, Mom, that looks exactly like Mount Hollywood. And so I happened to have some extra white letterboard letters, and so I was like, wouldn't it be funny if we put Hollywood on the mound? So we did. Very cute prank. I like to imagine that like when the construction workers showed up, they were just like, that's adorable. Like the cleanup of it, not annoying. No one's like really inconvenienced by it. It's a cute prank. And actually my daughter wanted to clean it up herself, so no one ended up having to clean up after us even. Let's see what you guys say. Morgan says 80% of pranks are dumb, some are very funny. Aaron says non-destructive pranks are destructive ones are douchey. So Aaron, you're basically saying like even at their best crafted, pranks are still just kind of like I think you and I are probably of the same mentality when it comes to pranks. Alyndon Sylvester says, I would be in the no camp, but if the recipient of the prank is in on it and it doesn't cause harm, then fine. Well, that also kind of defeats the purpose of a prank, is if the other person is in on it. Then it's not a prank, it's a sketch. You know, it's a skit at that point, right? Yeah, I'm glad that you guys hate pranks. Let's make pranks uncool, okay? Collectively, we can do this. Hold on, I gotta read Darren Cook's story now. Does pretending I'd gotten stabbed on my rooming house to my good buddy, fake bent butter knife, flour, ketchup. He almost killed me after that. Dude, if he fell for it though, you clearly did a good job. But you gotta make sure that you don't ever actually get stabbed around that guy now. Cause if you actually end up like getting shanked in that dude's company, could you imagine? And you're like, dude, I'm bleeding out. He's like, okay, sure you are. And you're like, no, seriously, look, my large intestine's coming out right now. And you're like, yeah, I bet it is. Where did you get that from? The meat store? Look, I'm going to pull on it. Yeah, this sure is your organ. Oh, God, that was grotesquely visual. I could feel the organ as I was improvising. Gross. I ask your opinion on pranks because that is a theme in this next story that we're going to cover. This is also posted to Best of Redditor Updates, so it's one of those stories that we get the full conclusion to. We don't have to deal with any icky, yucky lack of closure. We get the full story. Am I wrong for siding with my mom when she told my wife she isn't family? See, I'm like already kind of like, all right, probably. You're probably wrong, but I've been surprised before, so hit me with it. My beautiful wife, Zoe, and I have been married for a year. I have a 10-year-old sister, Liv, who is very shy, quiet, well-behaved kid. With her parents, our super close family friends, she is sassy, fun, outgoing, but around most adults, she's super reserved. Zoe and Liv have an okay relationship, but I certainly wouldn't say that they're close. Liv hates the movie character Krampus. When she was 4, she went downstairs on Christmas Eve and my mom and her friend were watching the movie in the dark living room and it scared the shit out of her. It's not like she's still super scared of it, but she definitely still hates it. My son with the clown from It. Is it It? No, Pennywise. That's the one. Look, I told you guys I won't watch horror. I will. You can force me to. I'll hate it though. We were recently staying with my family while in between places, just for a month, and Zoe found a Halloween mask that looked similar to Krampus at her friend's house and thought it would be hilarious to prank Liv. I really don't think she had bad intentions. She has a mischievous streak, and it was totally something Liv's dad would have done. Okay, so we're kind of like, this is a thing that you hate. Alright, so like, I guess I can kind of see that, especially when people make the things that they're scared of or hate a lot very, very obvious. It does kind of like drive up a little mischief streak in you to kind of want to like hit that button a little bit. This is why I always tell people, like, if you have something that's almost too easy to annoy you with, dude, you gotta keep that close to the chest, okay? Pennywise is from It, okay, so I'm not too off on my horror knowledge there. Yeah, I could see this, like, if my kid was going around like, I hate clowns, I hate clowns, I hate Pennywise, like, I could see why someone, if they came across a convenient free Pennywise mask, might be like, I have to. You know what I mean? I also see this as, like, not the worst thing in the world. So Zoe woke her up with the mask, and Liv didn't think it was funny, and basically just wouldn't talk to her. My mom came into our room and very aggressively told Zoe, if you ever go into my sleeping child's room again, we are going to have a huge problem. Zoe tried to say she was just playing around and she didn't think they would get that mad, as Liv's dad does stuff like that all the time. My mom said, he is her effing dad. You aren't even family. Zoe was furious and asked if I was really not going to defend her. I said, you are 100% my family, but Liv probably doesn't think of you as family, and that is understandable. My mom even clarified that is what she meant. She said she considers her husband family, but would never ask us to, and she told Zoe to accept that she isn't Liv's family. Okay, so this is definitely a lot more reasonable than the original title had suggested. It was more just like, we thought this might be like a you're not even family type thing, which is weird because your son's wife is certainly your family, quite frankly. But in the context of, do you have a strong enough rapport to use her deepest insecurities against her? Probably not. Yeah, probably not, though. Zoe is furious with me for not standing up for her. I feel my mom was mostly right. Liv doesn't view Zoe as family and is more closed off and reserved with her versus her dad, who she is 100% comfortable with and would feel she could get back to. Zoe is my family, but it seems weird to push her on my family. Oh boy. So what do you guys think? Do you think this husband could have done anything more for his wife? Because look, it's always a sensitive topic when your mom and your wife are beefing, because it's like, these are the two most important women in my life. Please don't even make me take a side. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the same time, you should take the side of whoever is being the most reasonable. And it could go either way. You know what I mean? Like, I am a woman whose husband has a mom. We don't always agree. Sometimes she's more in the right than me. Sometimes I'm more in the right than her. But I guess that's also a matter of opinion. You know, you definitely want to avoid putting your spouse in the middle of stuff like that as best you can. Like, I don't understand why he necessarily has to be the final arbiter of this decision, but I can also see wanting him to be involved. Freedom Fiend, hair of the dog comes from the belief that eating a small part of something that hurt you would ward off evil. So if you were bitten by a dog, you'd eat some of their hair. Similar thing for alcohol. That's right. Thank you. Thank you for fixing my interpretation of that. It's all coming back to me now. Don't show TJ that clip of me trying to explain it before you came along and fixed it for me, Freedom Fiend, because he'll just be like, no, it's okay. No, it's fine. In this case, obviously what you want to do if you're ever stuck in between your parent and your spouse is just try to be the best mediator you can. Like, truly try to be as objective as you possibly can. In this case, his mom is the more reasonable one. I will say both of them kind of acted in ways that you can't be surprised that you annoyed the other person. Like, I think that the mom kind of came at Zoe pretty harsh. You know, I think it was, she kind of went right to assuming, like, the most nefarious intention of it, and, like, really went right to, like, borderline threatening, which, like, okay, you're not really going into this with, like, intentions for a good faith discussion. You cranked the situation up to a 10 immediately. At the same time, if someone, again, used my daughter's biggest fears just to mess with her, and like you guys aren't even close like that, and my daughter came to me and was visibly upset, I can't say I wouldn't do the same thing. I can't say that I also wouldn't be like, don't you ever do that to my daughter ever again, because y'all know me, I might go a little crazy, honestly. I can't say I wouldn't do the same thing, okay? But I definitely think the mom is being the more reasonable one here. If you're the one pranking someone, you don't have much ground for being in the right, because it's like, even if you didn't have the most ill intentions, your intentions was still to prank someone. That's not positive, and it's not even like the prank was like, whoa, I woke up to my room being filled with balloons, and inside every balloon is a note of affirmation. Like, not even a fun one. Like, you're just being an a-hole type prank, you know? But we do have some updates. Maybe just one update, I lied. One update, 11 hours later. Well, my last post got a lot of attention and was a lot more decisive, I think it meant to say divisive, than I was expecting. I'd like to clarify some things. I do think of Zoe as my family. She is the most important family in my life. Liv is my half-sister, and I don't have a relationship with her dad, my mom's husband, though I know that might sound scandalous to some of you with your views of family. I would never prank Liv, because we don't have that type of relationship, so I was pretty horrified that my wife pranked her. My mom never forced her husband on me, so I stand by not forcing Zoe on Liv. Yeah, this is kind of weird. It's like when the stepmom tries to get like way too involved, like way too fast, except this isn't even like the stepmom. It's like the weird aunt almost. And yeah, at that age you're like already so annoyed. And I don't know if anybody else was like this, but when I was a kid, I was always a lot more on edge if my parents had like friends and stuff over, like people that I didn't really know. So I don't know if anybody can relate to that. I don't necessarily mean that in like a terrible way. I'm not trying to say like my parents traumatized me by having friends. I'm certainly not trying to say that, but I was always kind of, just like a little bit more guarded, and I did kind of expect some baseline respect in my own home. Like, if someone was nasty to me, I would vocalize it to my parents. I'd be like, I didn't like that your friend did this, or something like that. I can't even think of a specific time or anything in particular, but I definitely do remember feeling like this is my house and I should have a right to be respected in it from a very young age. Because you do! Anyway, back to the story. Well, I just wanted to let you all know we are now no contact with my family. So the Krampus prank took place Friday night, and I haven't really been home since due to crazy work hours. I got home and found Zoe hysterical. I've never seen her like that. She was on the verge of a panic attack and couldn't stop crying. God, this is so stupid that it's all because you had to put on a stupid mask and scare a kid. Like, I know it doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but like that's why this is so stupid. It's because it wasn't that big of a deal. You could have easily not done this, and you let the intrusive thoughts win to do this stupid thing, and now you're here crying. Like, that's so dumb and embarrassing that now you're crying over a Krampus mask. Like, and you put yourself in that situation. My mom's husband came in and in a really mocking voice said, "It's just a prank, bro." Like he was trying to be some kind of cool TikTok kid. Apparently, while I was gone, my mom told Zoe they were going out to dinner with Liv. So Zoe was home all alone, and my mom's husband and some of their piece of shit friends decided to stage a break-in. They had ski masks, ropes, and obviously Zoe thought she was going to die. Then Liv popped out giggling like crazy, and Zoe realized what was going on. I don't agree with what Zoe did to Liv, but it is nothing compared to this sadistic shit. I actually hit my stepdad, which is crazy because he's a black belt, and I might regret that in the morning, but I've never been so pissed. I told my mom I would never forgive her. She began screaming about how she was in my child's effing bedroom, she had no right, blah, blah, blah. But I am done. We got our shit and went to a motel. Honestly, what sucks is my godfather was involved, and I always thought he was a cool dude. But whatever, he picked his side. Screw them. And that's how a prank war goes from 0 to 100 very, very quickly. Holy shit! I was on your side, Mom! I was on your side, Liv. To be honest, I don't blame Liv as much in this because, like, she's an 8-year-old or however, like, she's probably not the mastermind behind this plan. But, like, dude, I thought it was a little bit of an overreaction to be coming at Zoe so harsh and being like, how dare you go in her room? You're not family. Like, I was like, okay, that's a little bit over the top. At the same time, like, I would be pretty upset if someone pranked my daughter too, but not make someone at fear for their entire life, literally making them think that they are about to die angry. That's, oh my God, that is 48 hours level criminal intelligence. And they just thought of that in the matter of just a couple hours. And not only did they think of it like so quickly, but they like had the means to execute it. This is a terrifying family. This is a wrath-filled, spiteful, scary family. There were never any warning signs. Like, no one had any, like, the mom has never displayed any kind of anger issues before this because, oh my God, dude, that, like, people could have actually died that night. Because here's the thing, I'm telling you this right now, and I know this from experience. If I think that my home is being invaded, I will use every means necessary to ensure that we stay safe. And I mean any means necessary. The dogs have commands, okay? We have devices, okay? I once almost killed my own friend, dude. We went out of town, we asked a buddy of ours to check in on the dogs, but we came home early, and my husband had forgotten to tell him that we came home early. And so he was in the habit of, like, coming in and checking on the animals between, like, Uber drivings and deliveries and stuff. And so he had stopped by at, like, 2 in the morning. When I heard that door open and footsteps at 2 in the morning, it was like lightning speed that I grabbed the entire lamp on the side of my nightstand, ripped it out of its outlet, and then, because you can see that my front door at the top of the stairs was at the top of the stairs, about to launch this lamp into my friend's skull. But I was able to perceive, like, oh, that's John. Okay, hi, John. And I remember being like, oh, it's you. Okay. All right, I'll go put this whole thing away. Sorry, buddy. Like, you live to see another day. But, dude, what if Zoe was strapped? You just admitted y'all don't know Zoe like that. What if Zoe was straight up kicking with it? You know, what if Zoe had major pew-pew training and y'all found out real bad? Okay? And this is also, like, it's not like it's unrealistic to talk about the pranks that end up with people dead. Do you guys remember that YouTuber? Maybe he was a kick streamer. This is more kick streamer behavior than YouTube behavior. But the one quick kick streamer who was just messing with people and touching people, and eventually someone, like, literally shot him. And he survived, but that guy was not charged. Zoe cowabunga. Toe Ray says, don't try that in the South is all I'll say to that. That's what's crazy to me too. But like, do any of you guys think that Zoe deserved it a little bit? I'm really trying to like bait out my true chaotic neutrals of the chat. Do any of you guys consider that a around and find out moment for Zoe? Are any of you team Liv's mom by any chance? I have to know. Because I will say this, when it comes to the find out part of around with pranks, I'm definitely like, dude, you deserve to find out. Like, people who try to wake people up as a prank, dude, people have PTSD, dog. Some of us, I shouldn't have said us. I meant some people are veterans. Some people have seen war. Some people, their literal, like, trigger response to being woken up without any conscious thought is to, like, punch the crap out of your face. Okay? Like, you going into her room with this Krampus mask, like, I wish she would have just gotten punched as opposed to all that. Really thinking about this is still a lot of Zoe's fault. I hate to really victim blame, because obviously I think we can all agree she did not deserve to have an entire fake home invasion put on her as revenge. But if you're gonna really ask me, like, whose fault is it that this husband who literally just existed and did nothing wrong now has to be no contact with his family, it's mostly Zoe's fault. Yeah, it's mostly Zoe's fault. If they wouldn't have done the whole home invasion prank, they still would have been pissed at her. I love this. A revenge prank is fine. That was not an okay response on their part. Yeah, I think that they deserved a revenge prank. But that far? Yo.